On this episode of Hitting the Field, basketball's in the home stretch, football's also in the news for a change, and so is football. And let's not forget baseball. Who wouldn't want to be in season during March, the busiest sports month of the year? We've got you covered here on this episode of Hitting the Field.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask. I just really hit the field. 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 Boy, I'm about to hit the field.
Welcome to Hitting the Field. I'm your host, Jaret Kappelman, and joining me today to begin the show is Jeremy Brener. How you doing today?
Pretty good, Monday, feeling good.
Good start. You're looking good too.
Thank you.
Nice tie.
Thank you.
And joining me for the first time is Nick Geddes. Nick, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. No one ever asked me that, actually. So, you know what? Today's show is action-packed. In a very rare occasion, HTF is covering 4 sports in a single episode, and we're going to get started with the NFL Combine, which took place over the weekend. The best of the 2020 draft class put on a show for league scouts and officials in Indianapolis over the weekend. We'll start on a high note. Jeremy, who was the winner this weekend?
Honestly, I'm going to go defense this one. I don't think very many people had a better combine than Isaiah Simmons. That dude solidified why he should be a top 5 pick. If Isaiah Simmons goes past number 5, it's an absolute tragedy. The man can play on the defensive line. The man can play linebacker, inside, outside. He can play nickel corner. And if you want him at safety, put him there too. Literally, he balled out, and he proved why he's the best defensive player in this class.
All right, Nick, who really stood out for you?
I'm going to switch it over to the offensive trenches, and I'm going to say Mekhi Becton. I think that this is a very stacked offensive line class, and I think he's done his part to make himself a case as being the top left tackle in this class. And I think if you're the Giants at 4, whereas I had them going Jedrick Willis, I think you may be going Mekhi Becton. And based off a guy 365 pounds running a 5'1".
That was fast.
I mean, I think that showed the concerns that they may have had for him was the speed.
All right.
Look,
Boy, why are you owing?
Because Mekhi Becton, great player, great combine, yes. But not at number 4, Nick. Not at number 4. That's too high. Jedrick Wills is still the best tackle in this class. There's absolutely no way about it. He's a surefire pick. He's a guy that's going to be, protecting your quarterback for the next 10 years for sure. Mekhi Becton had very good combine. Very good combine. But at number 4, it's too much. Look, Tristan Wirfs had a good combine. Mm-hmm. And so did Andrew Tom. All the top.
Wait, what do you want to add there, Nick?
I was just going to say, I think I'm saying that I think there's a chance he could go 4. I don't think he's going to go 4, but the chance is there, and I think as the Giants, you have to do your due diligence on
that. Would be such a Giants move to go and get a guy like that. That really would be.
They got Daniel Jones.
Okay, they need to take the best player available. They didn't do that last year with Daniel Jones. They need to, reverse their fortunes, pick the best player available. The best player available, it might be an offensive tackle, it might be Jedrick Wills, but considering how that top 3 is going right now, they might be able to land like a Chase Young or an Isaiah Simmons right there at number 4. And they should just go best player available regardless of position, just like they did 2 years ago with Saquon. They need to do that again this year. And whether it's Simmons, Young, Jedrick Wills, not Mekhi Becton though.
Let's move from the cheers to the jeers. Nick, who just screwed up this weekend?
I think it was A.J. Epinesa. I think he made his case on his tape and in college that he was the second best edge rusher in this draft behind Chase Young. I think running a 5.04 at 280 pounds like he is as an edge rusher, I think that's the time that scouts want to see for a guy like that. But he does have the production in college at Iowa to back up his game. But people are going to look at that time, and I think he's going to fall down some boards. And I think Chase On from LSU and maybe Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State is going to jump him in the defensive end rankings.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Epinesa did not do himself any favors this weekend. I think you can argue that he is the best edge rusher outside of Chase Young in this draft. However, you mentioned it, Nick. It's like the film on tape does not lie. And I still think Epinesa should go in that first round. He might not be number 2 now, but I do think that I would still spend a first round pick on him.
Yeah,
I still would, but I don't. I do have some doubts now.
Yeah.
I do have some doubts with Epinesa. For me, though, the person that did himself the least amount of favors, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in the draft. Jake from State Farm, man. He did himself 0 favors too. The man couldn't run a 5-second 40. That's a problem. And look, Jake Fromm was never a dual threat quarterback. He's not a running quarterback. That's fine. But look at where the quarterbacks are going in this league. You need to be able to run in this league. You can have the strongest arm in the world, but if you can't run, that's an issue. Teams are looking for versatility, especially with a quarterback, because quarterback you tie your future to. After this weekend, I don't think teams are going to say that's a guy that we can think is the quarterback of the future. Absolutely no way. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Fromm is now, who could have been like a mid, 3rd, 4th round pick. He goes 6th round pick. I think he's late in day 3 right now. I think he dropped maybe 2-3 rounds. I think you still use a pick on him, but he really dropped maybe 2 to 3 rounds. And that's why I think he's the biggest loser this weekend.
All right, well, let's move from the gridiron to the hardwood, where the Celtics and Rockets battled in one of the more entertaining NBA games this season on Saturday night. The Celtics led by as much as 17 in the first half, but Russell Westbrook was too much and led the Rockets on a furious comeback to lead for most of the fourth quarter. But then Jaylen Brown shocked everyone by landing a 3 after Jason Tatum intentionally missed a free throw as the time expired. But that only sent the game to overtime, where the Celtics led for the majority of the period until James Harden stripped the ball from Marcus Smart and began a fast break that led to the game-winning free throws. Jeremy, how big was Houston's win now that they are tied for the longest current win streak?
Huge, phenomenal. It was great. The Rockets, they are finally getting some respect. Finally. And I think this is the game that does it, because I think this whole small ball, pocket rockets, hashtag pocket rockets, that's my favorite word. It's pocket rockets. You should follow that. Why are you looking at me like that?
It's just funny.
Pocket rockets is a great name for it. But anyway, this is a game, yes, the Celtics didn't have Kemba, but that's a team that's really good at home, a playoff team. That's probably the most impressive win other than the Lakers win in this stretch that we've seen since they acquired Robert Covington. This really puts them on the map. They moved to within a game from the 2nd seed after that win. Now they're a game and a half back because Denver and the Clippers won yesterday. But at this point, if you can't tell me that the Rockets can't win the championship now, you can't. You can't do it.
What do you think of this game?
The Rockets are rolling right now. I think this small ball approach they're doing has really impressed everybody. It's taken the league by storm, I think, because of the uncertainty around it. And you look at Russell Westbrook. He's playing out of his mind right now in the last 10 games. And I think
nobody's playing better than Westbrook.
I think that's why I think the Rockets, we talk about the Lakers and Clippers as the favorites. The Rockets are that one team that I think can take them down, because you have 2 guys who on any given night can score 40. James Harden played one of his worst games, I could argue, against the Celtics.
But they still
Westbrook
can get the
stepped
win.
up, and you still got the win, and you got good contribution. And that was a game where the bench didn't even play that well either.
Yeah, the bench has had, but the bench is still, I would argue, I think it's better than the Lakers. I think it's on par with the Clippers, and I think on par with the Nuggets. They have the team that can compete. It's all about executing, though. And I know that's why a lot of people are very anti-Rockets, because they don't think they can execute in the postseason. But have we ever seen this iteration of the Rockets in the postseason yet? No, we have not. So you cannot count the Rockets out just yet.
I don't know if you guys remember back before we had our NBA show, the show before, I gave my prediction to the NBA Finals, and I said it would be Rockets Celtics. Is that still realistic, Nick, or no?
I think it'd be really entertaining. I mean, that was a hell of a game on Saturday, and entertainment-wise.
But can those teams get there, you think?
I think the Celtics have maybe a better shot, because I think the Celtics have a ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals, probably against Milwaukee.
Okay.
And I think they have an easier route because of that. The Rockets have to go through so many other powerhouses, and I'm not sold on them beating the Lakers or Clippers yet, but I'm saying they can make it close, though, I believe.
Who's got to step up for them to beat the Lakers, like in a best of 7?
For the Rockets?
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Russell Westbrook for sure.
There's this whole argument, is this Russ's team? Is this James's team? It's both their teams.
Derek Gordon's team.
it's Tyson Chandler's team. Let's be real. But I just Russell Westbrook's playing so great right now, and taking out Capella and putting in a 5-out system, Russ is unguardable in that 5-out system. You really cannot find an answer to stop him. There's no, tell me who can stop him. He has not had a game in the 5-out system where he has not scored, under 50%. And he's had 30+ in every one of those games. This is Russ's, Russ.
He had a good month.
James Harden doesn't need to be James Harden because he's got Russell Westbrook to help him out. That's the best combination, 1-2 combination in the league. It's crazy.
But who is James Harden this season? The three-point shooter or the free throw expert?
Why not both?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's working really well.
He's shown he hasn't been able to do both.
¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both?
Because he's shown this year that he can't.
What do you mean?
I haven't seen a game where he's been great from 3 and great from the free throw line.
But he doesn't need to be that.
You just said why not both?
I think having Westbrook there instead of Chris Paul, for say, helps him so much because Chris Paul is not a dominant scorer. He can't take over a game. And so if one of them can't get going, Westbrook is usually there to pick up the slack, and I think that was helped them so much.
Well, we're talking about James Harden's Rockets, or is it Russ's? Because they haven't lost since the All-Star break. The only other team that shares that accomplishment is the Milwaukee Bucks, headlined by likely MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. The former MVP's got into a war of words over the past few weeks with James Harden. I'm sure you guys heard about this. Basically, Harden said, I'd like to be 7 feet, just be able to run and dunk. Are you Team Harden or Team Giannis?
What'd you think?
Team Giannis.
No. Team Harden, obviously. You gotta represent the dude from the H. Look, what Giannis did, Giannis came at Harden for no reason. Giannis came at Harden and was like, you can't pass. Here's my thing, though. He went at Harden saying Harden can't pass, and he picked Kemba Walker. But who's averaging more assists right now? Harden or Kemba? It's Harden. Harden's top 10 in assists right now. What do you mean he can't pass? That's crazy. He literally came out with something blasphemous, a blasphemous claim. So what did Harden do? He threw a blasphemous claim at him.
So, Nick, what's your take?
I mean, I'm Team Giannis all the way here because even though Giannis may have started the beef, Giannis's point, or the point of Harden made against Giannis, rather, does not make any sense at all.
Okay, but neither did Giannis's claim to Harden.
But the one against Giannis makes zero sense.
The one against Harden makes zero sense, and he started it.
Okay, here's my point. Being 7 foot and dunking is very easy, but averaging a triple-double while being 7 foot is
averaging
not
a triple-double
easy.
while being 6 foot is also not easy.
Giannis has improved his three-point shooting so much this year to a point where he's pretty competent out there, I think. And I know everybody wants to go back to that air ball he had, but that doesn't matter.
The issue is not that Harden said that. Because here's the thing about Harden. The media hates Harden. The media really does not like Harden. For whatever reason. I don't know why. What this whole national bias claim is with Harden. Literally, he came up with the game-winning steal on Saturday. You're not hearing about that.
No.
You're not hearing about
Westbrook
that. He came with the
40.
game-winning steal. But I mean, they're going to say, Harden had 20 points, not a good game. Came with the game-winning steal and the game-winning free throws. But you're not hearing about that. Why? Because Harden's I get fouled too much. Giannis goes to the line almost as often as he does. So
Harden doesn't play defense. Giannis does.
What are you talking about? He had the game-winning steal.
Name a highlight reel where we're watching a defensive player.
That's exactly
never
what I'm
talking about
saying,
James
though,
Harden's
is
defense.
You're always talking about, because James is not good at defense. James is, only a free throw shooter. James is only a three-point shooter. But he's making the plays on the other end. But nobody's talking about that. You only want to talk about when he's slipping up. You only want to talk about when you're hating on him.
Nick, I'll let you add in what you want to
All
say.
I'm going to say is Giannis may be 7 foot, but he wasn't always this unstoppable freak that he is now. He had to work his body to get to the point where he is now. And to me, that takes a lot of...
And that's fair.
That takes a lot on him to get to that point.
That's fair.
And so what? If he's bigger than everybody, use it to your strengths. Shaquille O'Neal made a career out of it.
What
Nobody
Harden was trying
questioned
to
his
do,
ability.
what Harden was trying to do is Harden was just trying to say, hey, don't say, stupid stuff about me. I'm going to say stupid stuff about you. It's like, hey, eye for an eye. Obviously, I don't think Harden actually believes that.
It wouldn't surprise me. There's flat earthers
I don't know.
out there. There are flat earthers.
Okay, I mean...
But here's the thing.
That's a
I
whole
think
different
why
story.
Giannis was like saying, I want someone that passes. It's an all-star game. Stats don't matter. So maybe he's thinking, Harden's only going to shoot. I mean, you heard them. In the last few minutes of the game, we were just attacking whoever Harden was guarding. I mean, I feel like it's just a play on of media. I don't think Giannis meant anything he said, but I think Harden truly meant what he said.
Yeah. Well, of course. I would be upset too. He basically said that the man
Does
couldn't
Harden
pass.
have a right to be upset?
I think so because, like Jeremy pointed out, too, the media has had a vendetta against Harden for a while,
Harden
and I
led the
think
league
Harden's
in
tired of
assists,
hearing about it.
Not 3 seasons ago.
I'm not
He
disagreeing.
led the league in assists. What are you talking about? You can't pass. And yes, this whole, Harden's usage rate is really high because he's in the offensive season. Well, yeah, of course it's going to be high. Well, you still have to pass. It's like what Giannis did. Yeah, you can be 7 feet tall, and yeah, you can dunk, but yes, you do have to work at it. So don't come at me, and I won't come at you. But if you come for me, everything's fair game.
Yeah, I think there's points to both sides. I don't know why they both had to go at each other because I don't think they both really made great points against each other. If you're going to go after each other's games, I think they picked the wrong things to go after here.
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
So if you had to go after Harden's game, what would you have said?
I'm going after his defense, probably.
Why? He had the game-winning steal in the
That's
game
one.
the
You're
other
telling me
night.
you're giving me one play.
He's averaging
Recency
like 2
bias
steals
at
a
that.
game.
Like I wonder
His
what's he
defense
done in
is
his career.
underrated. His defense is underrated. People don't give him enough credit that he actually does play defense. He's usually the one in the post. Of course, I mean, look, he's the one in the post often because he's probably the tallest Rocket. He's 6'5". So they put him in the post a lot, and he's actually not terrible. People give him this whole, I'm terrible at defense thing, but it's
Harden
not true.
is
It's
historically
it's a myth.
terrible at
It's a myth.
defense, and I hate
Myth.
that we have to end this
Myth.
conversation.
Myth.
But thank you, Nick and Jeremy, for talking with me today.
myth.
We've heard from them, and now we're going to hear from you. Head to our Twitter at Hitting the Field to answer today's poll. Are you hashtag Team Giannis or hashtag Team Harden? I'll reveal those results at the end of the show. When we return, we'll talk spring training with Kayla Burge and Lindsey Tellez. Stay tuned.
I mean, yeah, they lost the last 2, but third time's a charm, right? That's what I tell myself every night before I cry myself to sleep, right?
Definitely. In my eyes, I know he's pitching game 2, and his postseason ERA is about over 4, and I'm scared.
Because I like losing, apparently. It seems to be the trend. It's Jeter, too. He's just mad because the Yankees lost in the 2003 World Series.
03 World Series?
I think I have a better chance of winning the lottery, actually. Like, I'm probably going to throw it all on red this summer and hope for the best.
100%. And they're better than the Houston Astros. The Trastros?
Honestly, Justin Verlander is the second coming of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He is a god. I would go straight for Kate Upton.
I don't know.
We didn't give him enough. Should have given him $500 million.
Let's go, Yankees. The Yankees will not lose. Let's be clear. Best team in baseball. Ever.
Burge and Lindsey Tellez to talk some early spring training. Ladies, how are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Lindsey?
I'm super excited.
All right, well, let's start with some not-so-good news that came out of the Yankees camp late last week. The team announced that Luis Severino, who was expected to be the Yankees' third starter this season, would undergo Tommy John surgery and be out for the year. This is yet another blow for the Yankees. James Paxton will now be out till late March, and Giancarlo Stanton isn't 100%, and neither is Aaron Judge. Kayla, how concerned are you for this Yankees team?
I think something important to note here is that the Yankees went most of last season without Severino.
Okay.
And they still made it pretty far. They went most of last season without Stanton as well. They still made it pretty far. It's not going to hurt them in the regular season. They're still going to do the same that they've always, for the past couple seasons at least, have performed. It's going to hurt them when they get to the playoffs and every person in your rotation starts to matter because they're not going to have that same level.
All right, Lindsey?
Yep, they did make it far. However, they didn't make it to the World Series, and
No.
that's what counts in the end, you know?
Exactly.
I think the addition of Cole is more important
Yes.
now more than ever because they really need him to be their ace, especially since they have 3 of their core starters out, 2 from injury and 1 from suspension. So they really need, I think what's important is the Yankees really need to come with their offense and have that run support that they need behind their pitchers.
Kayla, who's going to matter the most for the Yankees in the postseason, though?
I think Jaret Cole, the pitching. It's proven last year that it was a battle of pitchers in the end. Who can keep up? Who can hit the same? And yeah, if Stanton is unable to come back, that's going to hurt. He's the star hitter. If Aaron Judge is injured again, that's going to hurt. So it's all about the Yankees need to get their team healthy in order to see where they can go.
Okay, but so you also mentioned earlier, they were without these stars last year.
Yes.
Do you think, by not playing the regular season, that might have hurt them going into the postseason?
I think so, yeah, because they don't have that, the regular season's a bunch of games of where you're practicing building momentum, and then you're just thrown into the postseason. It doesn't bode well for a good play.
Fair enough. Well, I think we all know the Yankees will probably be in the postseason regardless because they have talent. So let's move to a lighter note. This spring training has brought many comeback stories to the diamond. Orioles first baseman Chris Davis is having some success after being one of baseball's worst players last season. Rockies pitcher Daniel Bard is attempting to play in the big leagues for the first time since 2013. And Ubaldo Jimenez is also trying to find the fountain of youth, returning to the team he found his greatest success with, the Colorado Rockies. Lindsey, what is your favorite spring training feel-good story?
So I'm keeping my eyes on Chris Sale and Lance McCullers Jr. this season, because starting with Chris Sale, he was one of the most dominant pitchers in the 2018 season. He helped the Red Sox win a World Series, and then injuries have not been kind to him roughly the past 2 years. So he's on his way, he's on the come up, and I think that the Red Sox are going to be looking for him to be their ace, because they're kind of in the same position with the Yankees, how they lost both Porcello and Price. So it's going to be interesting to see how he hustles this season. And with Lance McCullers Jr., I got to shout out to my boy from Houston, 24 straight curveballs. Never forget it. He underwent Tommy John, and
he's gonna. That's a comeback player of the year kind of story. Kayla, what do you have?
I'm looking at teams as a whole here, and I'm looking at the Chicago White Sox. Right now, they're 4th in the Cactus League with 5 wins, 3 losses. They're a team that haven't even made a playoff appearance since 2008. They haven't won since 2005. So I think with the addition of Grandel, Dallas Keuchel, Gio Gonzalez, and Encarnacion, I think Chicago White Sox fans should be excited going into this season of possibly, they're not going to make it far in the playoffs if they even make it to the playoffs. But I think they're going to finally put up a good fight and not have a 70 to 80 approximate.
Well, that division is historically not good.
No,
the Tigers are terrible. The Twins were finally good last year, but the Indians are terrible now. Do we think the White Sox can win that division?
I think they can. I don't know. It all depends how they do once the season actually starts. But I think they have a pretty good chance, yes.
Lindsey?
Yeah, I think it looks good on paper, having all of those players and their new acquisitions, but we're going to have to see and wait until the season starts.
You also mentioned, they're sitting nice in the spring trade, but do these games matter?
In the grand scheme of things, no.
No. Just like the Marlins are first place right now. Let's just think
okay,
about that
matters.
for a second.
That matters. But
because the only time you'll see an undefeated season.
Tim Tebow hit a home run. Who cares? It's spring training,
well, Tim
right?
Tebow. You want to watch Tim Tebow.
Isn't it just whoever can stay healthy in spring training? Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
All right. Well, this offseason hasn't disappointed as the Dodgers acquired 2018 AL MVP Mookie Betts. Gerrit Cole signed a $324 million contract with the Yankees, and Steven Strasburg is back on the Nats after signing a $245 million deal. Kayla, what offseason move looks the best heading into opening day?
I have to go with my Dodgers move, obtaining Mookie Betts and David Price. I think that they were the pieces that the Dodgers needed to finally maybe win a World Series this year. Now they have an outfield of A.J. Pollock, Cody Bellinger, and Mookie Betts. Their starting rotation starts with Buehler, then Kershaw, then now Price. So I think they're definitely a team that's going to be hard to beat this season. I think they will definitely make it to the World Series and hopefully win.
All right. Lindsey, what move's looking really good?
As much as I hate to admit it,
don't say it.
Cole signing with the Yankees. Like I said, they need it now more than ever. You know, I personally, Jaret, won't be losing any sleep over Severino needing Tommy John, but they need him, and Cole has been so great, and we're going to miss him in Houston, but it's going to be interesting to see how he meshes with Sanchez, because he had Maldonado on the Astros was his catcher, and we know how important it is that they have chemistry between the pitcher and the catcher. So I know Sanchez has been undergoing some new catching techniques, so I'm going to be keeping my eye on that.
What do we think of the former World Series MVP and Madison Bumgarner going to the Diamondbacks? Is he gonna make a return, like being good again?
I think so. I think, you know, he was on the Giants for so long. He gave them all the energy that he had. Now it's time for a fresh team with fresh blood and new teammates. Yes. So I think it's his season for sure.
Was it a good move for them, the Diamondbacks, to get
yes.
Bumgarner, Lindsey?
Yes, for sure.
All right. Last thing, Marcell Ozuna did sign with the Braves, and it's honestly saying that he regretted it in a way. In an interview earlier this week, he was saying he wished he would have taken the $17.8 million deal with the Cardinals. Do you think, I know you had mentioned on a previous show, you said Ozuna was going to go to the Braves. Do you think it's a good fit for the Braves to have Ozuna?
I personally think so. I think a lot of what they were missing in the postseason was power hitters, and yes, Ozuna didn't really show up for the Cardinals when they needed him, but I think that doesn't diminish his ability to play the game and ability to hit any less. So
it's a hitter-friendly ballpark
exactly
for the Braves.
So I think personally, I don't know his feelings. I'm not him, but I think he was a perfect fit for the Braves.
Do you think it's a good fit, Lindsey?
I think it was. Looking at the Braves roster, they have acquired a couple good players this offseason, and I think he would go further with the Braves than with the Cardinals.
All right, and it wouldn't be an MLB segment if we didn't talk about the Houston Astros, who have been beamed the most so far in spring training. They're getting booed, they're getting drilled. Lindsey, I'll give you the floor once again. Is it right that teams are drilling them and, booing them?
Listen, no matter the circumstances, it is not okay to purposely hit a player.
I think it is.
They can get seriously injured, and it doesn't matter what they did.
But I think
even if it, I'm sorry.
If the ball, if the ball is below the neck, then Alex Bregman in an interview said that he loves how the game polices itself, and he loves that if someone pisses someone, gets someone mad, then you're gonna get hit. He said it himself. So how are you gonna be mad when your own teammate had said he loves that aspect of the game?
Listen, all I know is that once the Astros start getting hit and continue to keep getting hit, they're going to fight back. Yeah. Especially Lance McCullers, he gets scrappy.
Well, we all know it's going to get scrappy. This season will probably be a disaster for the MLB front office, but thank you, ladies, for talking baseball today. I can't wait for the season to start. When we come back after the break, UEFA Champions League just wrapped up its first set of matches, and the MLS kicked off its 25th season this weekend. Find out what our soccer analysts have to say. Stay tuned.
This semester on Hitting the Field, we decided to outreach and discover some really talented people to come intern for the show. And there's one that is really rising above the rest, Malik Stones.
Malik Stones? Yeah, that guy's shown a lot of potential, and I know his experience from data battles is really shining when he's on camera. He brings this professionalism and just a standard that's just above and beyond what we already have here at Hitting the Field. And not to mention, the kid's an athlete. He has an arm like Josh Allen, just an absolute cannon. He's also my dad.
So Alex, how are you liking the show?
I gotta say, don't trust most of the people on the show. Really, it's just, really, I don't like dealing with people that aren't human, and I can really tell. At least 6, maybe 7 people, not of this planet, not of this dimension. Different kind of planar existence.
Malik's positive attitude has resonated well with his peers here at Nicholson School of Communication and Media. Many have said that his irritable and random outbursts are super cute, and that they are impressed with the amount of paper he can consume. Most of the crew really enjoys having Malik around. Well, except for one HTF member in particular.
I am actually terrified of Malik's. I've never met anyone with more passion for Rob Gronkowski. This man is a maniac. like an actual crazy person.
What are your expectations?
Oh, my expectations? Well, I expect to take over the show in at least 6 months. I heard that Kyle kid is kind of weak. So I figured, if I attack him first and kind of create a sort of illusion at some point, I can kind of, I don't know. It's all in my head right now, but I don't want anyone else to know. They're listening.
Malik Stones is just another example of the rapid growth here at Hitting the Field. He may be insane, but if you don't like this man, then you need to remember it's 2018, you intolerant
Hitting the Field!
Welcome back to HTF. It's an exciting time around the studio because we're going international to talk UEFA Champions League. Very rare for us to take an international sports. So it's definitely a special occasion, and here to talk football is Robert Husby. How you doing today, Robert?
I'm doing very good, ready for football to get its respect.
All right, and I got the soccer man himself, Manuel Chimoy. How you doing today?
Good.
All right, let's jump right into it. Last week's round of 16 brought some exciting results. Atletico Madrid came out on top against Liverpool 1-0. Napoli and Barcelona ended in a 1-1 draw, and Manchester City came away with a big win against Real Madrid in a 2-1 victory. Robert, what's the biggest takeaway from the first leg of the round of 16?
I think it's Atletico Madrid and Liverpool. Atletico was at the Wanda Metropolitano, where Atletico calls home. Atletico is a force in the Champions League at home. In the last few seasons, they've taken down Juventus at home, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and now Liverpool. They're great at home. They play with a lot of confidence. The fans give them so much help, so much help. They're loud, they're proud. And Atletico really put on a defensive masterclass. I mean, they're one of the La Liga teams, even though they don't score a lot, they put a lot of defense, and they're one of the best defensive teams in La Liga. So that transfers over to the Champions League, and they really shut down Liverpool after that first goal that Atletico scored.
Manuel?
Well, for me, Man City and Real Madrid, two of the big teams in the world. Obviously, Man City won, and Real Madrid took the loss, but with El Clasico that just came up, you think that they just won against Barcelona. Will the momentum actually let them help? Obviously, Madrid are the king of Europe. They won like 10 Champions League, and I could actually maybe see them making a comeback.
Well, I mean, Barcelona, they ended up in a 1-1 draw, but they were able to get a road goal. I mean, that's big going back home. Do we see Barcelona putting this one away?
Well, with Arturo Vidal getting a red card and Sergio Busquets accumulating yellow cards, and basically he's gonna be out. I could basically see that the midfield is probably gonna be Rakitic, Arthur, and Frenkie de Jong. Either Rakitic or Frenkie as holding defensive midfielders. It's gonna be a tough game, but it's gonna be in Camp Nou. Usually they do good in home games, so I could see them pull through.
Robert?
Yeah, Napoli is an interesting team. They're not doing very well at all in Serie A this year. They're just a very weird team. But in the Champions League, they were able to turn it around. They beat Liverpool. And Napoli's got good players. Zielinski, Mertens, Insigne, Koulibaly. They got good players there. So they can give Barcelona a run for its money. Barcelona in the last two Champions Leagues, you saw with Roma 2 seasons ago, Barcelona wasn't able to handle them, and Roma was able to bounce back and win. So it's very interesting. I think Barcelona are not in a good place right now. You saw in El Clasico yesterday, they're just not in the right state of mind right now. And, without Luis Suarez, it's going to be hard. So, Napoli's going to give them a run, and it's going to be a very, very interesting second leg.
Yeah, it's hard to play when you don't have a player that's going to bite someone else. But, Manuel, we got Robert here wearing a Liverpool scarf.
They lost over the weekend.
They looked terrible. They've looked terrible as of late.
No, okay, so obviously they lost against Watford 3-0. And it's just like Madrid, right? Would that put them down, but Madrid obviously up? Will Liverpool actually screw them over because of their confidence? Now it's going to be down, and would they actually lose against Atletico? And that would be huge if they did.
See, I don't think so. I think, this was Liverpool's first loss in the Premier League in 46 matches. So it's that's an impressive record. And they're going home against Atletico. They're going to Anfield. Anfield is known for this atmosphere on European nights. And Liverpool step it up at home. They play with a lot more confidence in front of their fans. They put a lot more pressure on. And so you can't count Liverpool out at all. They're still, by far, the best team in the world right now.
You can't count them out.
You can't count them out.
Can't count them out.
And Atletico is going to have to score another goal. They can't sit on that 1-0 lead for 90 minutes.
They're going
They can't
to.
do it. And they're going to try and they're going to lose.
Well, I want to bring things back to stateside, where the Major League Soccer kicked off its 25th season over the weekend. Nashville SC and Inter Miami made their league debuts and lost, while Seattle kicked off its title defense with a 2-1 victory over Chicago. Manuel, what was your biggest takeaway from the opening weekend?
Well, for the Orlando game specifically, because I was there, and it was, the fans are incredible.
Sold out, by the way.
Yeah, it was sold out. The atmosphere was incredible. And obviously without Luis Nani, Dom Dwyer, they definitely were lacking on finishing a lot. But, Pereira played incredible. Defense was really solid. And, I could actually see Orlando being a big contender for the playoffs, hopefully this year.
Well, they did make a lot of offseason, roster changes. Robert, how are those paying off for them?
Yeah, I think getting Pedro Galese from, the Peruvian national team, he's their goalkeeper. I think that's a great addition. I thought Brian Rowe was pretty good last year, much better than a lot of people expected him to be. But Galese is the guy you want in between the pipes come game day. I think the midfield is a lot better with Junior Erso and Mauricio Pereira finally getting a full season under his belt. And then obviously Luis Nani and Dom Dwyer didn't play. I think this is a make or break year for Dom Dwyer, though. If he doesn't have those goals by the summer, I think you have to.
For as good as they looked. First game of the season, they looked.
Yeah,
they looked better than years past.
Yeah, they look good.
They could have won. They put a lot of pressure on. The end product just isn't there yet.
Yep.
Yeah, they did go against Real Salt Lake. We would have to see a tougher opponent.
Yeah.
And
Salt Lake was a playoff team last year, though, so they're interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, what was your big takeaway?
I think it's LAFC, Inter Miami. I think Miami gets
Miami's
their first
nasty.
look.
I agree.
Yeah. I worry about that defense, though. I really think that defense is super thin.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Luis Robles signing. I thought he was their man of the match yesterday. He kept them in the whole time. LAFC put constant chances on them. Diego Rossi and Carlos Vela were all over them. But Luis Robles held the fort, and I thought he played very, very well. Especially when Rodolfo Pizarro was brought in for all this money, he really did not have a good showing yesterday in his debut.
How did the LAFC look? Because they're arguably the best team.
They look incredible.
That chip shot goal.
Carlos Vela's goal was, that reminds me of last year when Messi did it against Real Betis. It was just beautiful.
I believe that's what they call poetry in motion.
Yeah, exactly. No, but Carlos Vela for me is basically the Lionel Messi of MLS. He plays the same way, plays as a winger but drops back, comes center forward, center attacking mid. He goes forward, links up the play.
Yeah.
Carlos Vela is definitely probably the best player in MLS.
And it was his 31st birthday yesterday, so he got that celebration goal.
He's the best player in the league, but is that because Yusef Martinez tore his ACL for Atlanta? That's huge.
He scored more goals than Yusef Martinez did last season. But, as far as the injury for Yusef Martinez goes, look, this is Atlanta United. With Miguel Almiron at Newcastle now, this is Yusef Martinez's team. And they don't have a backup striker. Adam John is one of their backup strikers. He played for Phoenix in the USL last season. I really worry about Atlanta United.
Manuel, how are you worried for Atlanta as well?
Oh, definitely. They don't have strikers. So what I'm thinking they're going to do is they're probably going to load up the midfield, play in a false nine formation. Probably Martinez is going to play as a center forward and link up the plays to the left wing and right wing. But there's also rumors that Daniel Sturridge is probably going to come to the MLS, and he has 3 clubs that he could actually be pretty good for, which is Atlanta, Orlando, or Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Well, it's an exciting time for soccer in the United States. Thank you, boys, for your commentary. When we come back, I'm going to reveal the results of our Twitter poll and deliver my rant. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dave Jeffrey, attorney at law. Has your favorite team ever left you feeling sad, disappointed, or even a little angry? Don't you feel like you should be compensated for it? Just take a look at these real testimonials from my real clients. After Tyrod Taylor led the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, I was the happiest I'd ever been. And then the Bills traded him, and I wanted to die. But thanks to Dave, I found my will to live again. Yo, Kevin Durant's a bitch. When he said his mom was the MVP, I was so pissed. He put up 30 a game, not her. Same time, I knew my boy Dave would be able to get me some quick cash. Thanks, Dave Jeffrey. I've helped millions of people, and chances are I might be able to help you too.
I hate David Jeffries. My whole family died in a car crash, but he gave all my money away to a Saints fan because of some blown pass interference call. Thanks, Dav.
Aren't you mad when KD went to the Warriors?
Nah. That's pretty chill.
Give me a call at 888-888-888, crying emoji, and I can fix your sports misery too.
Please call the number on your screen today if you are experiencing any grief, sadness, or even if another fan has hurt your feelings. All you have to do is provide your credit card number, the 3 silly digits on the back, and the expiration month and year. This is not a scam. Doop de doop.
Welcome back, and the results are in, and a great majority of you in the upper 70s, 69 to 31%. It was Team Giannis, which that doesn't surprise me because even though he is 7 foot and just dunks, he's very talented. Like, let's think about it. He's the Greek freak for a reason. Like, name one other player his size in the current NBA to do what he's doing. He's improved his mid-range shooting. He's improved his three-point shooting. He's improved his free throw shooting. James Harden, I don't see you dunking. I mean, yeah, I'd love to be 7 foot and dunk. I mean, yes, Harden dunks, but, you know, not every single play. But that's not Harden's game. They both play very separate games, and you know what? That's that. And let's continue with a rant. Wow, I don't even know where to start because MLS was actually really exciting. I actually watched a good amount of games, which is surprising to most people because I'm not the biggest of soccer fans. But let me tell you, soccer is a really great sport, except when you tie 0-0, like the Orlando City game. I mean, that kind of dragged out, which sucked. But, I mean, seeing Seattle score in extra time, well, no, the 92nd minute to take down Chicago, I mean, talk about a story. I mean, they're defending their title. What more could you ask for? One thing I noticed in soccer, a lot of offsides calls. I swear there were at least I saw at least 12 goals over the weekend called back because of offsides. I feel like if you're a professional, that's like an easy mistake. Like, know where you are in the field, know where the defenders are in the field. And like, I've seen so many defenders, the team scores and they're looking for an offsides. No, you're positioned terribly. Like, you need to know where the back line is. You need to know where you are positioned on the field. I didn't see improvement from you. You guys are professionals. You guys get paid millions. I could do better. Last but not least, it's going to be an exciting time for March Madness. I am so excited for that to start. But honestly, I have to say thank you so much for everyone tuning in for today's episode of HTF. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Hitting the Field, and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. You can also catch the HTF podcast and Hitting the Crew on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Kyle Partain and Kayla Burge talk UCF baseball and softball's hot starts. We're off next week for spring break, but we'll be back in 2 weeks for a special hour-long March Madness preview hosted by your very own Might I Add host, Kyle Partain. For everyone here inside the Nicholson studio, I'm Jaret Kappelman, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, now I don't got